All right, there we go. So, like I said, I'm Trini at Alexander's Aesthetics. We're really excited for this opportunity to bring you some wonderful education with Elise, and I'm going to pass it over to her. But before I do, I would like to say that we love to have these virtual learning experiences very interactive. So if you have a question, please drop it in the chat box below, and then I will intermittently stop Elise and ask her whatever we have down in the box. Please make sure to ask any questions. Utilize this as a great learning opportunity and so that you can grow your waxing business because it is different. I would love to know where you guys are located. So if you can put that in the chat box as well as maybe what wax brand you use or if you've used NaturaverdePro. I love saying it. That would be great information for us too, just curious. And then also what kind of waxing setting you're in. Are you solo? Do you work at a spa? Do you work like at a chain? So very, very fun information. I just like knowing where other estheticians work because I'm an esthetician and I love this. So like I said, feel free to ask questions, but Elise, I'm going to pass it over to you. I'll be here hanging out. So if you need anything, just let me know and I'll let you take over.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
How is everyone today? Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited about this webinar today because I think it's so important. I know a lot of us out there, we know how to do the work. We know how to basically wax with our eyes closed. Some of us, maybe some of us are new, but if you're someone who has worked behind the bed, I like to say for estheticians, or behind the chair, all these years and then just decided to open up a business or want to increase your profitability in the waxing business, sometimes we don't know where to start. I like to think that I'm an expert because not only have I been in business for over 20 years in the beauty business, all aspects, but because I have failed so many times early in my career on the business end. Waxing has always been at the forefront of my business, excuse me, but it has kept my doors open for sure. Early in my career, I wasn't clear on how to increase my business. I think someone's coming into the waiting room. I'm sorry. Trini, should I let them in or you'll do that?
I have my eye on it, so I'm just letting them in as they
Okay,
prepare.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. So sorry about that.
no problem.
So I definitely will be talking a lot about maximizing your profits in the waxing business. But I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Elise Agostinelli Ruggiero. I am the Director of Education and Sales for NaturaverdePro. It is fun to say. Some people don't love to say it because it feels a little awkward if you don't speak Italian. But I like to say, call us NVP Wax if you feel a little uncomfortable saying it. So we are a wax brand that was originated in Italy. We are in business for over 40 years in Europe, just new to the US the last 4 years. We launched here right in the middle of a pandemic. So it was quite interesting. 2020 February, we launched. So we're newer to the wax game. I myself am not. I have been an esthetician, cosmetologist, an aesthetic and cosmetology instructor for over 15 years. I am working in a working esthetician, owning 5 salons and spas of my own. The last couple were quite successful. The first few, like I mentioned earlier, I had some failures. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I actually love to share that with working estheticians because it's some,
It's so.
oh, I'm hearing myself, Trini.
Oh, I'm not quite sure why. Let's see.
Maybe somebody came off
Oh, there
mute.
it is. Okay.
Okay. So I've made those mistakes and I've learned from them and I've taken those mistakes, or I like to call them little hiccups, and
Elise, I think you might be muted.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
How about now?
We're good.
Okay, awesome. I think I forgot. Yep. Now I'm off mute. Okay. So what I was saying was I'd like to talk about the failures just as much as the wins when it comes to the waxing business, the aesthetic business. I've had many highs, many lows, and I think it's helped me grow as an esthetician, as an education director, as a business owner. And I love to pass that on to everyone else that is out there, maybe just starting, because it can be really frustrating. Or for those of you who are in business and you feel like you're kind of falling flat. So I definitely want to go through some of the things that you can do to increase your profitability, to cross over your clients. So I'm going to get started by sharing my screen. And I have a small presentation that I'd like to show you. And of course, I love to be interactive with all of you. So if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. As Trini mentioned earlier on, we love working with Alexander Aesthetics because they are so focused on education, as we are NaturaverdePro as an education company. Not only do we sell wax, but we also are keeping education at the forefront of our business. It's really important. So we love working with companies like Alexander Aesthetics because that is so important to them as well. And I commend all of you for being on the call. I know you're very busy, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I have the ability to share my screen. Yes.
Yes, you are co-host, so you should be fine to do so.
Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to talk about maximizing your profits and strategies for the waxing esthetician, the business of waxing for estheticians, waxers, and cosmetologists. I don't want to ever kind of leave the cosmetologist out of the equation. I think estheticians, of course, we know that that is part of our program when we first start school waxing. Some of you may have gone to school and let me know if you're thinking back right now and said, oh no, I'm not waxing. I want no part of that. I do not want to touch it. It's messy. I don't know how to do it. And I know I meet a lot of estheticians and cosmetologists along the way who, after taking my class, say, you know something, I think maybe I do want to incorporate wax into my business. Leaving wax out, and this even goes for someone who does hair, who has a station, you're missing the mark. You're losing a lot of revenue this way because your client may have very little time, and having a one-stop shop where they could say, oh, I just noticed that you have that wax warmer on your station. Do you do eyebrows? Do you do a lip? And being able to not only bring that client into another service on your service menu, but that client will be coming to see you more often. Most people aren't getting their hair cut every 6 weeks like recommended, or getting a facial every 3 to 4 weeks. But they definitely are coming back more often for a Brazilian underarm wax, eyebrow wax, lip wax. Once they start waxing, it's very difficult for them to go back, especially if you're using a quality product. So we're going to talk a lot about elevating your business and boosting your bottom line. So I like to talk about the luxury service. What sets us apart from other brands or other estheticians, cosmetologists out there, waxers? You need to elevate your service. So gone of the days when you walk into those little nail salons where they have a dirty wax pot, with sticks on the sitting on the edge or in the pot. I'm sure all of you can remember those days. I've seen it recently too, which is quite alarming. But elevating your service means elevating your product, elevating the way that you treat your customer or your client. So when I talk about a luxury service, does that mean that you have to go out and spend millions of dollars or thousands of dollars that you may not have as a new business owner. No, but there's little ways that we can elevate our service. First and foremost, doing the research to find a quality product. Working with a company like Alexander Aesthetics, you have the ability to look through the different types of products and waxes that they carry. So you can go ahead and do a product knowledge class on their website for the different lines that are out there, and choose which line works best for you. But make sure that you're working with products that are performance driven, that are high quality. So I'll talk a little bit about our products in just a bit. Make sure that when you're offering service to your client, you can elevate it and bring it to a luxury level just by offering them some water at the beginning of the service, making them feel like you're the only person in the room, shutting your ringer off on your phone. You know, I don't know about you, but I've been to tons of services, especially I have eyelash experience getting my eyelashes done, and the tech is on the phone the entire time. You know, you can elevate your service just by shutting everything else out for that 15 to 30 minutes that you're waxing someone. So the ringer's off, you're giving them your full attention, you're giving them a high quality product with high quality ingredients, offering them a little something at the beginning of the service. And I love to offer my clients a little something to go home with. And if that means just printing out a card for aftercare and maybe creating some samples. So a lot of our accounts love to create samples. So this is not something you would obviously give to your client, but this is something that we do. We give our clients these sample bags because we want them to try the product. So for instance, if you're doing a waxing service, you may want to offer your clients a small little satchel of maybe some aftercare. If you're using our Nourish oil, you can put it in really tiny little jars, and it's very cost effective, but it leaves a mark on the client's kind of on their mind. So whoop, we missed one. So when we talk about our clients, we want to talk about who is our client? Who are we looking for? If you're an esthetician currently and you're only offering facial services and you're thinking about incorporating wax into your service menu, who is your clientele? Do you have a clientele that's very interested in brows? They talk to you about brow shaping. You know, start asking your clients questions. Do you get Brazilian? Have you ever had a Brazilian? You know, it's a good time to, you know, think about incorporating these kinds of services into your service menu because it's January and it's February and it kind of gets a little slow. It's a great time now, right before, and I hate to say Valentine's Day, but it is a very busy season for the Brazilian waxer. So I myself am a Brazilian waxer. That is at the forefront. I wax full body, but I have always been very popular for them. You know, some people say that's funny. You know, it is, but it's because I'm so good at it, because I enjoy giving that to my client, because I know that my client will not perform that service 99% of the time on themselves. I know many estheticians who will not perform that on themselves. So offering your clients the service of Brazilian, it is trending right now. I don't know when it wasn't. I would say in the early 2000s, when I first became an esthetician, is when we started to notice the trend or picking up the trend of Brazilian and bikini waxing. You know, Brazilian waxing is an art form. If you have the proper training and you are quick and you're using quality product, your client will stay loyal to you forever. It's one of the things that I pride myself on is being able to cross my clients over. Offering them a very personalized service like a Brazilian, your clients really trust you. They're loyal to you. They trust that you are, you know, they're laying on a bed, they're completely naked. They may have just met you for the first time. So they're putting all their trust in you. And this is a good time to talk to your clients about other services that you provide, like underarm waxing, full leg waxing. You know, it's a great time to figure out what their needs are. So if you find out what your clients' needs are, then you can go ahead and offer them these services. If you're not offering waxing, you're losing out on a possible increase in your profit for the day. I mean, I do anywhere from 30 to 55 Brazilians in a day. I only see clients twice a month these days because I don't have the time anymore, but I have my very loyal clients that I could never say no to. So I think the max time that I've done is about 55 clients, all Brazilians, both female and male Brazilians, in one day, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, ending off at 11 p.m. I've built this up over many, many years. I have the ability to get my clients in that one day a month because it's all I have available to them, but they stay loyal to me because I give them the highest quality products, the highest quality service, and I get it done quickly. And I think that's what's really important to a lot of my clients. A lot of my clients are moms. They don't have the time. And to be quite honest with you, it's not a relaxing facial where they're coming in for this service and they want to kind of hang out with you. They love you, but they don't want to hang out with you while you're ripping hair from the root of their body. So I try to get this service done as quickly as possible without the client ever feeling rushed. So when you're using a high quality wax, such as the NaturaverdePro wax, and you're able to lay down multiple strips at once, you have that ability to get all of this waxing, all of the Brazilian front and back done in under 15 minutes. And your clients will absolutely appreciate that, I promise you. So while I'm in with my clients, as I mentioned a minute ago, I like to either upsell or cross sell. I know sometimes that feels very, very, very frustrating for a lot of our students. I don't want to sell. I don't like to sell. I don't want to push my client. I always kind of think of it as just a conversation. And what's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. So I think if you look at it as a conversation and something that you're offering to them that can give them results for a solution that they came to you with, then it's not really just selling, right? If you look at it as a solution to their problem, I think it would feel a little bit more comfortable for some of you. I hear this time and time again. I'm not a salesman. Unfortunately, you must be in these, in the treatment room. We can't just offer a bikini wax and continue to offer that bikini wax that is probably almost half than the cost of a Brazilian and expect to increase our profitability. So you want to turn every single service into an opportunity. When you turn your service into an opportunity, you look at it as a conversation, then you can say to your client, I noticed that you have some extra hair along your chin line while I was doing your facial. If you'd like, I have a great wax that does not cause any irritation or redness to the skin. I know you have to go back to work, but I'd love to just try this on you and see if you like the result. Don't charge them. It will cost you nothing. It is so little wax that you can offer a free chin wax, lip wax. Even I've done underarm waxing just so they can feel your wax, so they can see what the results are, how different the lip area looks, their chin looks. And again, you're using such little wax that'll come back and bring them back to you to now add on another service that you may only see them every 3 months for a facial. Now you're seeing them every 3 to 4 weeks for their lip wax or their chin wax. Maybe you've increased this to an underarm wax and they're in every 2 to 3 weeks. So this can only increase your retention too with your clients. Retention is key. If we're not getting them back in, if we're not having them come back to see us, then really that one appointment doesn't matter much, right? We want to make sure that before they walk out the door, they're booking their next appointment. Again, even if it's, a lip wax or a chin wax, it may be that next time they come in, you get them to, venture into a full leg wax. So it's definitely something to think about, and think about it as a conversation when you're introducing your products and your services. Okay. I know a lot of businesses love to create bundles and packages for an enhanced value. So why not think about adding, to your facial service, a facial with face waxing, so that again, the client can feel your wax, so that the next time they come back, they're booking a waxing as well as their facial. So it's definitely a way to increase your client retention again and your profits for sure. Um, your client base, again, loyalty is key. So when it comes to building a business, and I think we can all agree for those of you who are, again, just starting out or who have been in business for many years, word of mouth still applies. Yes, it's wonderful to have the access to social media, but a lot of us, like myself, did not have access to social media when we first started our businesses. I literally hit the pavement, and I'll be honest with you, I still do this. I still cold call and I still talk to, new potential clients in restaurants when I'm talking to my server, or maybe the girl at the counter at a business that I want to buy some beauty products from. So I still do drop my card very often, old school, but now you of course have access to social media, which is amazing. So if you're not utilizing it, I highly recommend taking some courses about social media. But in order to get those clients to come back in and to come in regularly, we have to remember that those clients, those long-term clients, are just as important as our new clients. And we must treat each and every one of them the same. So when it comes to my long-term clients, I make sure that I bend over backwards for them. I make sure that I give them that extra little love that they're looking for. Everybody wants to feel special. So I make sure that I never forget that they're the reason why I'm here, and my new clients are the reason why I continue in my business. So I kind of treat everyone the same, but I always give my extra love to my clients who are repeat offenders, who come in and have multiple services. One day I may say, I'm doing your Brazilian and your full leg today. I want to give you a little gift, and I'm going to be doing your underarm free of charge this time. And so I do things like that, and it's what keeps my clients loyal to me. It's what has kept my clients following me for the last almost 25 years. I always, when I did have my salons, I did have a referral incentive. So I think it's really important to keep track of these clients. How did you hear about me? Where did you find me? If it came from one of your other clients, I highly suggest giving them a gift, whether it be a take-home product that they can use during their, in between services, like an exfoliant, for instance, or a nourishing oil, soothing lotion. A small little container goes a long way. Your clients will appreciate it. And maybe offering them a free service. So if they've sent multiple clients to you, I would then go ahead and offer a free Brazilian to my client. It's worth so much to have that word of mouth. And I'm sure that, when you hear from a friend or a coworker, hey, you know what? This girl is great. This guy's great. I love the way they wax. I love the product that they use. You should go see them. And then they come and tell you, oh, so-and-so referred you. They had so many wonderful things to say about you. I had to come and check you out. So it means so much to go ahead and, reciprocate and say thank you to that, for that word of mouth client, and that referral and incentive goes a long way. So when we implement loyalty programs, this is definitely something that I get a lot of questions about. The loyalty program, there's two different models that you can work off. You can do work your way up to 10 services, and then get the 11th free, or you can, offer services, a percentage off the services that they are coming in for, or a new service. And that's what I always recommend. It's great to give away a free service, and your clients do appreciate it, but it would be even smarter to give away a service that they're not currently doing with you. So for instance, if they're getting facials and you want to create a loyalty program, you can do buy 3 facials, get a wax, underarm wax for free, or for a 50% off. So it's a good way to cross over your clientele into other services. So this is an important slide that I have here: streamlining your waxing business, operational efficiency. So for those of you who are small business, who have studios, it's really important that you are being efficient. Okay. Your time management is important. Your inventory management is important, and understanding your cost per service. And I hear very often from Estes and Cosmos and waxers that they're not sure what their cost per service is, or they're not even sure what cost per service even means, or an ROI. And these are one of the classes that we love to teach at NaturaverdePro, because it's so important in order for you to be successful in your business, for you to understand these three different topics. So let's start with time management. I'm going to be very honest with you. When I first got into this industry, I came over from the medical field, and I decided to become an esthetician. And I used to be in my room having a wonderful time with my clients. And I'd come out and my boss would be like, "What are you doing in there? You just took an hour and a half to do one Brazilian, or an hour and 10 minutes to do a 30-minute express facial." So my time management was not so perfect at that time. I wanted to give my clients the best service possible. And so because I wanted that, I was taking extra time with them. But that's not necessary. It doesn't mean in order to give them the best service, the highest quality service, that you have to take over an hour. Actually, a lot of your clients will not appreciate a 45-minute Brazilian. A lot of them are maybe coming in on their lunch hour, or pressed for time, got to get home after work. It's just life. And so being able to cut your time down for waxing services is key. And this is something, again, we teach in a lot of our classes, because your waxing client, again, does not want to hang out while their hair is being ripped out of their follicles. It's not so comfortable. It's not the most comfortable service. We can make it really comfortable, but at the end of the day, there is some pain involved. So we like to make this a quick, efficient service. So being prepared, very important. I talk a lot about the smart plug. So for those of you who are studio owners, salon owners, I don't know about you, but there are many times in my career that I've raced to work because I needed to turn my warmers on. There is no more awkward conversation than a conversation between a waxer and a waxy, someone on the table laying naked, and your wax isn't ready. So you're like, "So how's your family? How's your mom?" You don't even know what to say anymore, because you're like, "Please wax, hurry up." So I invested in smart plugs in my last salon, and I highly recommend you do the same. There are plenty of them on Amazon, I'm sure Temu, and all these sites that you can find them. And basically, you can plug in your warmers to the smart plug and set your timer from your phone. You could turn your wax on from your phone, turn it off from your phone. So it is a great way to be prepared and ready for your first client of the day, especially if you're booking waxing as your first client. You want to have your time management, because you have to increase your client turnover. The quicker you can provide your waxing services, the more clients you can see. If you're only seeing 4 waxing clients because your time is really over an hour per client, you're missing out on profit. So if you can at least even increase your service to 30 minutes, or decrease to 30 minutes for a Brazilian to start, you'll be able to see 2 clients in an hour, therefore doubling your profit. Moving on to cost-effective inventory management and supply procurement. What does that mean? It means you need to understand your product, what you have, what your ROI is, and understand your cost per service. So I'm going to give you for instance. This is a bag of 2.2 pounds of beads of our Blue Flex hard wax. With this bag, I have painstakingly taken this bag and taken 3/4 to a cup and just kept testing how much wax am I using in an average Brazilian. So I kind of narrowed it down to an average size person of 130 to 140 pounds, anywhere from 5'3" to 5'5", with hair that has a regrowth of about 3 to 4 weeks. And I came to the conclusion that I'm using 3/4 of a cup to a cup of wax. I've broken that down with the sticks that I use and all of my supplies and my pre and post wax solutions, and came to a number of $7.77. That is how much it cost me, the waxer, to provide my Brazilian service to my client. So immediately I'm taking my $7.77 off the top of my service charge. So for instance, let's say industry standard is anywhere from $75 to $100 for a Brazilian wax. And that's nationwide right now. So let's keep it round and say you're charging your $100 from your client. You are going to deduct your $7.77. Can anybody tell me what your profit looks like? I'm going to look in the chat and see if anybody, I always say I'm not a mathematician. I'm an esthetician. I really am not good at math. So think about what $7.77 minus your $100 looks like. So I'm literally going into my calculator right now so that I can give you the number, because I haven't seen anybody yet in the chat, because I know a lot of you are driving. It's 92.23. That's your profit. So if you're charging $100 for a Brazilian, then after you're taking your wax and your sticks and your paper, your table paper and all of that, you are at 92.23. And I see somebody here saying they charge 65, and that's okay. But I will tell you, as a service provider, I started in this business charging $65, and that was almost 20 years ago. And the reason why I did that is not because I wanted to be bougie, but because I was using a very high quality product. I was offering a luxury service. I was giving my clients what I knew other spas and salons were not giving them. And that was my full attention, the most high-end product I could get my hands on. And yes, wax is expensive. It is not cheap anymore, and we don't want to use a cheap wax either, because your clients will feel the difference, right? So I think when I started out, I started above industry standard. And I think for me, in the beginning, I just needed my clients to feel my work. I needed them to feel my Brazilian, feel my full leg wax, see my work with brows. And the minute they saw that was the minute that they decided that it was worth it to them to spend this money for their personal care, for their, if it was coming in for a full face wax, they knew that I was using the highest quality wax, that my wax was sanitary, that it was, that I knew that I was not double dipping, that I was only working on one client and one client at a time. So those are the reasons, some of the reasons why my clients chose to spend that money and work with me as opposed to another esthetician. So, I get it. I know that there's tons of esties out there and waxers out there, but it's a question I ask in almost every class that I teach. What will have you stand above the rest of the esties in your area, in your demographic? Why will they come to you as opposed to the esty down the block? And that's a question you need to ask yourself. You need to understand, am I using quality product? Am I giving them the best that they deserve? Do I offer my clients a little extra at the end of the service and the beginning of the service? These are questions that you really need to understand about yourself, and something that I highly recommend you sit down and you physically write down. What am I doing better than the person down the street? Go out there and see what's going on out in the world around you. So if you live in an area, I'm from Brooklyn. If you walk down a street in Brooklyn, New York, there are probably 10 salons on one block. And that especially goes for now waxing salons and lashes and nails. Okay. That's that's pretty realistic what I'm saying to you. 10 on one street. Okay. So Out of those 10, why do they come to me? What makes me better, right? Is it all about price? No, that's not necessarily the case. Clients are very savvy these days. They understand ingredients, they understand product, they understand the differences between hard waxes and soft waxes. So because of that reason, you need to find out what is it that your clients out there are looking for, and why are they going down to the SD down the block as opposed to coming to you. So go out there and do your research, try out other waxes, try out other products and services, go have services out. And I don't mean that you are being underhanded, but you can also cross promote with other businesses that maybe they provide services that you don't. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So just because you're going down to another salon doesn't mean that you're being shady. It just means that you want to see what else is out there. And that's okay, because you can actually build relationships with other businesses. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be your competition. But before I move on to past this slide, I want to talk about understanding your cost per service and your ROI. What's an ROI? It's your return on your investment. So for instance, this bag salon price is $32.50. Okay, you have 2.2 pounds in here. After going through the bag and doing tons of research of my own, I came to the conclusion that I can get about 8 waxes, 8 to 10, depending on the size of my client. Because our waxes are a very thin film. So I'd like to mention that depending on the wax that you're using, our waxes are applied 50% thinner than other waxes on the market. That means if you apply our wax too thick, you actually will not get the result you're looking for. It needs to be applied very thin. You, the waxer, the SD, the business owner, you're saving here. So if you're using 50% less wax, that means you could get 8 to 10 Brazilians out of this one bag. Okay, think about your cost per service versus your profitability. So if you can do that 10 times $92, you can see what your return on your investment is. Okay, so it's really important to understand how much of a product you're using. You know, I love the meme that goes around of the business owner who's pumping one little pump of product into a cup versus the salon worker who's like, "Shh, shh, shh." I have been there. I have done that. I've been on both sides of that coin, where I've been the SD working at a big spa salon or versus the business owner. I promise you, as a business owner, I'm the one doing the, you know, so it's but it's important to understand how much our product costs, how much we're using per client, and what we're getting back on that product. Whoop. I think I'm stuck. There we go. So next I want to talk about continuing education. So I know that this doesn't seem like it makes sense in this webinar, but it absolutely does. So for those of you who have been in the industry for many, many years, sometimes we kind of fall stagnant where we are. So you may have learned waxing techniques in the early 2000s, the late 90s. And that doesn't take away from that education that you got then, but learning new techniques, learning and getting a kind of a fresh take on a service that you provide will never hurt you. I think that I have gotten to this stage in my career because I've always kept my mind open to learning. I have no shame in taking a waxing class, beginner waxing class. I love to watch other educators, you know, perform a service, because I've always learned something new. The reason for that is because I always keep my mind open. I've never said, I don't need that education. I know all about this. I know everything there is to know about waxing. Do I? Yes, I do. I can honestly say that there's not much I don't know about wax. I have been, my hand has been in the product and development of our products, to the ingredients. Again, I'm an instructor. I have taught people for many, many years, but that does not mean that I cannot learn something from another waxer. I have learned things from students over the years because, again, I'm always keeping my mind open to learning. And I think that's really important for those of us who have been in the industry for many years to, you know, take some classes, refresh yourself, and get some new skills possibly. If not, maybe you just get some good connections out of it and you meet some new people. And I think that's really important in our industry. And then, of course, there may be new skills out there and new developments in waxing that you may not know about. So it's great to stay on top of the industry and on top of the different services out there. If you would have told me maybe 15 years ago that brow lamination was here to stay, I may not have believed you, but it is, and it's come a long way since the first brow lamination's been out there. So there's always new services and technologies and products and things that we can learn about when we keep educating ourselves. So please never stop educating yourself. And if you're new in the industry, taking certification classes is key, and post them up on your wall. And even if you're not new, I say if you have them, post them. I had a wall in my office. It was ridiculous, but I was proud of the fact that I always kept educating myself and I'd post them everywhere. But my clients were actually very impressed by that. They loved that I kept reinvesting in them, not just in myself and my business, but I was reinvesting in my client. And that's how you can look at education. And then, oh, why are you not moving? Hang on, sorry. There we go. Nope. I think I'm frozen. So I just want to talk about NaturaverdePro before we end off our webinar today, or I come to some questions. Just to give you a heads up, I know a lot of you just came in or recently came in. Just once again, we are an Italian made. So when you hear about Italian products or even food, you think of high quality, right? When you think of Italian, you think of, big brands like Gucci and Ferragamo, all of the amazing, Ducatis of the world. These are all like, Prada, high quality. We are the same in the waxing world. We take great pride in the fact that we have natural oils, emollients, and buffers that stick to the hair only, not the skin, for increased client comfort. These waxes are tested by a waxer for the waxer. So they're not just made by some chemist and they put all these ingredients together and said, yeah, this is good, this smells good. No, we have tested extensively all of our waxes. I personally have extensively tested all of our waxes before they have hit the market. And we take feedback from estheticians like yourself, cosmetologists out there, waxers. We really value your opinion. We value the opinion of our customers like Alexander Aesthetics, because you're out there, you're working estheticians, you're working waxers, and we implement that into our products, and you can tell the difference. Our waxes are definitely more pliable and elastic. So for those of you who are new, you have the ability to lay down multiple strips without the fear of it cracking. And for those of you who are not so new in the industry, I'm sure you've come across waxes that break, and that's the frustrating thing for a waxer. You want to be quick. You want to make the service go really quick. So you want to lay down multiple strips at a time, but you can't because the wax sets up fast, but it cracks faster. You won't find that with our hard waxes, and our soft waxers glide on the skin so smoothly. We have our amazing cartridge warmer system that can increase your speed, of course, and we have an entire library, a digital library. We'll be sharing this with Alexander Aesthetics so that you can see all of these different waxes in action and how they're used. All of our products come with a QR code like this one on the can and on the bags, so that you just can scan that and get a quick little 30-second tutorial, see how it's used. You don't necessarily always want to take a whole class. So we give you a little kind of blurb on what that looks like and how to use it, what to use it with. So again, as I mentioned earlier, all of our waxes are applied much thinner, 50% less than our, I don't like to call it competitor. And you'll never hear me talk smack about any other wax brand. I just know that the quality of our wax is at a 10 or above. And so I talk a lot about our ingredients, our products, but I will never talk negatively about another company or another esthetician. I just feel like, I have this product in front of me and it has everything I need to offer you high quality, high performance. So I don't need to do that, but it will be applied 50% less than any other brand. And so this is just quickly some of our products fall under the European Union. So for those of you who understand that the European Union's testing is definitely stricter than the FDA, we of course fall under the FDA and we are compliant. But being that we are formulated in Europe, of course, we must follow the European Union standards. So the fact that we pass all that testing is quite a big deal, especially to a lot of our customers. Our products are derived from all organic and natural ingredients. We have our own basically village in Italy. So we're based right outside of Bologna, about 2 hours outside. It's called Senigallia, Italy. And we have an entire village. We have our own production facility. We do most of our packaging. Many of our ingredients we grow ourselves, or we know where they're exactly sourced from. So we can trace them, which is important to know that and pass that on to our customer. Our waxes are all low temperature, low melt point. So a little bit different than you're used to. You're not jacking up the heat on our products. So this is something that is important for your client too, and bringing into your treatment. This is all the things that will elevate your service because your client will feel the difference and they will feel the luxury. And I just want to end off, I'm just going to kind of pass through all of these, and you'll have access to this entire PowerPoint. I don't want to go over time, so I want to have time for questions. This is our information. If you scan this QR code, it'll bring you right to the website, right to Alexander Aesthetics, and you will have a little surprise from Alexander Aesthetics as well. For those of you who are on with us today and joined us and stayed with us, you'll be looking for something in your email. So Trini, I don't know if you want to I'll stop the sharing and maybe we can take some questions.
Awesome. So we have one question in here as of right now, which is no synthetic fragrance in the wax.
No, there are no synthetic fragrances in the wax. So you'll find in each one of our, for instance, our hard wax here, this has chamomile extract in it, and you'll see all of our ingredients right on the front of the package. And again, they come from a natural source. Like I said, everything can be traced, which I love about the line. It's one of the things that drew me to the line, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, we don't love a, we don't love a situation where our client has a reaction from fragrance. So that
Absolutely not.
really
I'm really sensitive to fragrance. And so for myself, I think it's always been so important, just even thinking back to my time as an instructor and how the students weren't allowed to wear perfume. And, they would kind of get a little upset about it. And I always explained it to them this way. I'm super sensitive to fragrance. So think about if you came into my treatment, if I came into your treatment room and you were dripping in your most favorite perfume. And now I had to endure that through the entire service. And I'm not a rude person, so I wouldn't say I hate your perfume. Most likely I'd never come back to you. Right. So it's things like that that always made me very aware of having fragrances, especially synthetic fragrances in product, because I think
Yeah,
it matters to a lot of other people as well.
I agree. Monica asked if you still offer sugaring.
Oh, that's exciting. We'll tell you all a secret. We are about to drop our sugar, will be our professional sugar. We are doing a soft launch of it in March, but it will be here in the United States in April. So we
Yay!
are going to be dropping that very soon, and I'm very excited about it because we'll also be offering a sugaring class as well.
Oh, fantastic. Sophia asked, if you have any advice for someone, her, still in school, gaining confidence, continuing education post-graduation.
Absolutely. So I think first of all, congratulations on being in school. It's very probably one of the best things I've done in my life. My husband loves when I say that. But I'm like, the best thing I ever did, the best decision I ever made was to go to aesthetic school. It changed my life in so many ways. It opened up so many new doors for me and brought me to a place of pure happiness. I know that sounds corny, but I was working in a field that I did not love. I wasn't truly happy. So, first and foremost, congratulations. And I hope that for you as well. Second of all, post graduation, I absolutely recommend that you start networking, that you definitely take advanced classes. You know, when you go to school, remember that you're there to get your license. So you're not getting all of this advanced training that you kind of thought you may have been getting in school. And I think that's where some of the schools out there miss the mark by passing that information on to students. So I think it's important to understand, get your license, get your foundation in school. And when you leave school, find out what you love, because this is a good time for you to figure it out while you're in school. Do you really love waxing? Do you really love facials? Are you interested in advanced peels? You know, these are things you're going to want to do advanced education with. I highly recommend everyone take a waxing class because unfortunately, and I know Trini can attest to this because we both go to schools. A lot of the schools don't offer the education that you deserve for for a number of reasons. It's not necessarily the school's fault a lot of the times. So, for instance, in most states, Brazilian waxing is not part of the undergrad curriculum, or advanced waxing techniques like brow waxing, brow shaping is not part of your undergrad. So it's not necessarily the school's fault. So I recommend that you take as much education as possible. One thing that you can utilize is the shows. Go to the trade shows. You know, I know that Alexander Aesthetics is at many of the trade shows, especially, is it NANSPRO that you're at
As
right
a
now?
pro, yeah.
As a pro, I always say it wrong. Yes. So there's one in Florida right now, right?
Yeah, it was yesterday, so it was really
That's just,
exciting. And then we have
mm,
one coming up in California.
okay. Are you doing, where is that? Long Beach?
That one is in Boynton.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this
Okay.
year we're hosting one in Denver. So if you are local, please come to that. We're really
Very
excited.
exciting. I
Yeah,
want to come to them.
you
I'm
should.
coming.
It'll be fun.
When is that?
It's in June. I can't remember the exact date.
Oh yeah, if I'm available, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come as well.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that you get to the shows. There's the show that we just discussed. There's IECSC. I always say that wrong. IECSC,
A
right?
lot of letters.
A lot of letters. That is the International Aesthetics Congress. There's ICE, which is all over the country. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you look into, follow Alexander Aesthetics, and you can see where they'll be. They have all of their travel. They always put a post on their Instagram. So if you're not following them, obviously you probably are. You should start following them so that you can follow where their education will be next.
Yeah, I
Um,
do. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I did want to chime in just because I love when people ask as a student, like, how do you gain confidence with waxing? So I kind of just want to put a little piece of my brain thoughts in here. But I think something also, of course, we always want to do our continuing education, and it's so important to learn from each other. But one thing I've learned in my aesthetics career is you cannot be afraid to make a mistake. It's going to happen. You're going to have a bad Brazilian. You're going to have a 5-year leg wax, and you have to remember that it's okay. It's a part of the process of learning. We're not just born like fantastic waxers. We're not, it's some people, I can't say that. Some people just get it. But for most of us, it takes learning. And I hated waxing for years. And it really changed when I had a different wax that worked well for me in my treatment room, but I also had to get past the mental block that it's not going to be perfect. And there's going to be times when I feel a little insecure, or I'm sweating really bad because I'm like scared. And that's all part of the process. So be okay with that moment of insecurity and self-doubt for a second, because that's how you learn and that's how you become a master at your craft, by making those mistakes. Because you'll see when something goes astray in your service, you're like, oh, I've been here before, I know exactly how to fix this. But you cannot get to that point until you've made a mistake. So I just wanted to throw that in there, because I feel like we forget that sometimes. It's okay to fail a few times, because it builds you as an esthetician.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that I don't appreciate about social media. It gives this view of, right out of school, you're going to be the most successful, rich, famous esthetician. And believe me, I want that for you. But let's be realistic too. And I cannot agree more with that, because, we've all made mistakes. And if you heard me early on, I bombed my first salon so bad because honestly, I knew the work. I was good at waxing. I always was, and really good at a lot of the things the services that I provide, but I was terrible at business. I never took the time to take any classes, to do something like this. I didn't have access to this, and I failed, but I only learned from it. And I failed it again, and I failed again. I failed multiple times in my career, and it took me a good 3 tries before I became successful. And I didn't have the same notion that social media puts out there. I was always positive, but you have to also be kind to yourself. And I think that that's the message there. Don't expect for you to come right out of the gate, right out of school, to go out and do a 15-minute Brazilian, which is, I booked the 4 clients on an hour. I never expect you to do that right out of school, or even if you're not right out of school. It definitely took me many years to perfect that skill. So I don't want anyone to ever feel that, that's a failure because you made a mistake, or because something didn't go right. The wax wasn't the right temperature. It happens. This is life. It happens all the time. So I'm really glad you brought that up. And yeah, someone's in here saying the right training. The right training is important, right? If you don't have the right training, you can't expect to be a master at your craft. So continuing education is key for sure.
Yes, Monica asked, are you doing demo? She hates doing full leg wax. She feels she's a slow wax.
Mm. Can we show? Let me see if we can show the full wax. Do we have time?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Also, this might be what's on the video. The
That's what I was going to say.
cartridges are really
Game
game
changer.
changing. So if you're slow at leg waxing, check out the cartridge wax.
Yeah, Monica, I'm actually, I don't know, because I think we're right at that mark. So what, do we have it to show real quick?
I don't have it on my side,
You don't
pulled
have,
up, but if it's on your laptop, you can share it as a,
I have to see if I have it on my laptop. That's
we can always send it with
see if I may.
within the email as well.
Let's see if I can find it real quick for you. But Monica, what Trini's talking about is our cartridge warmer system. So I never liked legs, ever, ever, ever. Wanted nothing to do with it, because it used to take me forever, especially when I was working with hard wax. When I finally met the cartridge warmer system, it changed my life. Oh, I have a back that I can show. Let me see.
Perfect.
So it's a quick little video. And this is the cartridge warmer in action. Okay. So let me share my screen again for you guys. Can you see this?
Yeah.
It's small. I'm trying to get it to enlarge it. Okay, here we go.
Is it possible to wax an entire back in under 5 minutes? Let's find out. In order to demonstrate that this can be done with multiple NaturaverdePro products, let's check them both out. First up is the tea tree roll-on wax.
So that was done in under 5 minutes. I had the video cut off there. Let me see if I can find the leg wax for you guys. Let me stop sharing my screen so you don't have to look at all my pictures. 1 second. So the cartridge warmer system is a completely disposable cartridge that you can add into your list of tools, I like to say, your tool bag. So basically it's a one-time use used on one client and one client only. And you can lay down all the wax in one shot and then remove it all in one shot, so that your client is kind of blown away by how quickly the service is done. I'm looking for my 15-minute leg wax. I'm trying to find for you guys that's done quickly. Maybe it's here. On a client, and we sped up the video. Otherwise, I'm going to send you over to the Alexander Aesthetics Instagram, because I think you have it on there, right, Trini?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so there's one on there where I do a full leg wax in under 15 minutes. Actually, I do it in 12 minutes. And that's from hip to ankle. Back and front. Whoop, I'm hearing myself. Back and front, hip to ankle, for a full leg wax. And yes, it's soft wax, but it can increase your speed by a mile. So it's definitely something to take a look at. And of course, Alexander Aesthetics has all of those products on their website. And you can see all of those and all of the special pricing that they offer as
And
well.
I'll put the link in a link to a couple of the different products in the chat box. So if you want to just take a look at them, you have the opportunity to do that for sure. And then I think there was another question. Oh, Monica also asked, do you have any recommendations on speed or wax classes in Atlanta?
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, we are all over the country and we offer waxing classes. Are you doing any waxing classes, Trini, this year?
We are. We always have wax classes going. Our California office may be on a little bit of a break from classes, but Colorado does have several coming up in the next few months. So make sure you check out on our website under the events tab. You can kind of look through and see if there's any classes that work for you. But California does usually have some waxing classes. So just keep an eye out. This next like 2 months, they might be on a little bit of a break, but they'll be back in action really soon.
And yeah, I mean, which is amazing. And that's why I love to see you work with a company like Alexander. Also, we have wax classes that we do provide throughout the country. We have advanced classes, and then we have free classes that we teach at all of the shows. So the next time we'll be close to Atlanta will probably be Orlando in June. And we'll be there in June doing some classes at the show.
Woohoo.
Free classes. Take all the free classes you could get your hands on. I say
Yes.
take advantage of it. It's the best way for you to, just keep leveling up.
And that's, the key in this industry, because we have to always be learning, like you said, and always growing, because, new people are coming into the industry and we want to be able to have something special that we offer to our clients, and classes are going to help you find that little special little mojo in your
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I think it's important to always keep in mind that your product, will also set you apart. So your education and your product. And I think that's really important in any services that you choose to provide in this industry. I think it's, something that says a lot about you as an esthetician, as a cosmetologist, that you are, again, concerned with the quality of product. I always say I wouldn't use something on myself or my mother that I would use on my client. So it would all be the same, and it has to be the highest quality for not only for myself, but for my clients. And I think
Yes.
that's important to mention.
I agree with that. It doesn't look like we have any other questions in the chat box, but I
Okay.
would like to tell
Excuse me,
everybody.
can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I am so sorry. This is Monica Dijon. I am so sorry, but something happened to the video and I cannot chat. So I was trying to figure it out. So I didn't hear, I missed part of it, but if you have an Instagram of that leg video or other videos, I would love to watch
If you
and follow your
go on
Instagram.
my-
That'd be good.
Yeah, go on my Instagram. I'm the Wax Whisperer.
You should put
Wow.
it in the chat box so they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Well,
be.
you know what? Let me pull that last slide up if you guys want. Actually, I'll just put it in here.
I'll write it down. So at the
It's,
Wax Whisperer.
hang on one second. Let me get out of this. Why is this happening? 1 second. Okay. It's the Wax Whisperer.
Perfect.
NYC. And then we're NaturaverdePro. But you can see all of this on the Alexander Aesthetics as
Okay.
well. But
Perfect.
of course,
Okay.
please feel free to follow me. I'm very responsive on there. Let me know where I met you, that I met you at this webinar today for Alexander Aesthetics. And if you have questions or you want to watch any of my videos, they're on there. They're also on our website. So you can, I think you added that in earlier, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
The chat, yeah. You can go on our website and see some more videos. And if you do purchase any product, especially all of our new products, we'll have a QR code with for you to scan. So it'll take you right to our product learning page.
Perfect. Wonderful. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please check out the website. Look at all the different waxes that NVP has to offer. If you're not feeling fully satisfied with what the wax you're using, or if you're just like me and you want to try a new wax all the time, try it out, because really our success in our treatment room is by finding what works best for us and our clients. So there's a lot of opportunity for growth and just trying something new. So take some time, look through the different products, read and see, if there's something that catches your eye or that you want to try it out. And if you are a current Alexander's client and you order from us, I know the Colorado location does. I'm not 100% sure about the California location, but you can request a sample and we can put it in your order while we have them. If we don't have them, unfortunately, we can't send them, but usually we do. So if you want to try a different wax, if you're interested, let us know by leaving a note in your order, and then we can send you out a little sample to try. And, you can give us your feedback. If you need help with it, you can reach out to us. If we don't have an answer, we will reach out to Elise and then she will have the answer. So there's a lot of ways to try it and see what works for you. We do have some upcoming classes, I think at both locations in the next, or maybe not. Yeah, in California we do. So just keep an eye out. Dermaplaning is coming up in California. Colorado has a sugaring class. So a lot of different things. Check out the website. Lots of online learning. We do have an on-demand center. So we have buy-on classes, a sugaring intro, and some waxing classes as well. So check out our on-demand. If you have any questions, reach out, follow us on Instagram. You can always email us. If you have any questions that come up later on from this webinar, please email us. We can get them to Elise so we can get your questions answered. But other than that, that is everything. I appreciate everyone who joined us today, and we hope to see you at some of the trade shows or in our on-demand classes or in-person classes as well, or on webinars like this. Thanks, Elise, so much for spending time with us today. We appreciate all the good information, and it's so valuable for all of us. So I appreciate you. Alexander's will not be at Las Vegas this year, unfortunately, but we have went to many of them.
Be there in your place. So
Yeah.
you come over to our booth and you let us know you're a customer of Alexander's. We'll make sure that we get you in our classes.
Yes. All right. Perfect. Thanks again. And I hope everybody has a happy Monday and a great week.
You
Make
too.
lots
Thank
of money,
you.
raise your prices, enforce your
Yes.
cancellation policies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye.